Good morning, comic book fans! Welcome back to the 2025 best comic books according to Ka-Pow Comics. We're at number 10 now, into the top 10. This is one that I honestly just put on the list. I think in my head I put this on the list before it even came out because I genuinely love both the creators. It is The Voice Said Kill. It's by Simon Spurrier and Vanessa Del Rey, and if you haven't been reading it, you are letting yourselves down. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why. I'm going to start with the artistry on this one, because Del Rey is just phenomenal. There is a style of artistry in comic books I absolutely adore. I don't have a proper way of describing it. Whenever I talk about it, I generally refer to it as scratchy. It's not quite right, but in my head, it's just the best I can do to kind of describe that there is love and passion put into every single line and every single bit of shading in this comic book. Every character is beautifully realised. Every landscape is immaculately done. But it's done in a way that makes me feel like they have not spent any more time than is necessary to clean it up. This is not clean artwork, not clean lined in any way, shape or form. It is vigorous and it is rough and it is scratchy, but it is also beautiful in its way. And there's a bunch of things which this particular comic book shows off even more. So, number one, I've already mentioned like the landscape kind of thing. This is big, open landscape or tight enclosed swamp. It is camps. It is people in vehicles and shelters. It's nothing city-based, but it is beautiful. It is dark. It is disturbing at times. There is an awful lot of violence, but the places where the story takes place are just amazingly realised. It feels like this is a work of passion for Del Rey. And it's not just that, the way that it looks beautiful in and of itself, there's individual moments too. I've already mentioned the violence, and it's disturbingly violent at times, but it's handled well. It never feels gratuitous for the sake of it. There's a couple of moments where you do see an awful lot of the violence, but it always feels earned, and I don't mind that at all. But one of the bits that makes it stand out for me is the character. I mean, I've talked about characters in terms of how well they're written is a huge part of my enjoyment of comic books. In this one, it is choices made in representation. There's a whole bunch of different body types in this comic book, and that's something I really, really do like. I mean, don't get me wrong, one of my random little things that I'm a huge fan of this year has been the Rook Exodus series, but that fits into the typical portrayal of masculine and feminine body shapes in comic books just a little bit too much for me. Voice Said Kill has fun. It has a whole bunch of different people who exist in the world and obviously look like they belong there. That itself shouldn't be too much of a big deal, but there is some extremes here. And sometimes when I see this kind of artwork done, it falls a little bit into so it's a phrase I'm looking for, caricature, almost into that kind of thing. And it can be done when it looks a little bit cartoony or a little bit too over-exaggerated. Del Rey, however, does have this over-exaggeration. She has, like, sometimes a neck which is a little bit too slender, a little bit too long. One of the Crime Boss M characters is definitely on the larger side. And it does push just beyond that realm of realism. It's totally not photorealism she's going for. She's leaning into how much fun you can have within the form of comic books because you do have that freedom. But none of it looks like it's there to have fun in terms of at the expense of people with unusual body types. These individuals all are like they belong in the world because everyone is unique and distinct in their own way. And I love that for this book. In terms of the writing, I think Spurrier is one of the best out there. Him doing a very tight 4-issue crime, dark noir thing is exactly what I want. If you want to know how good a writer he is, in terms, from my experience at least, I spent 2 years reading a comic book about a character I'm not interested in because he was writing it. And although it was never the thing I loved the most, I always enjoyed every issue because he always brings something to it. In this particular case, as well as doing really well-realised characters and some fantastically tight crime noir storytelling, deep south crime noir storytelling, I think what really made it stand out for me is, like a handful of people, he has managed to do four-issue miniseries where in its wholeness, it will read brilliantly, and I look forward to going home tonight and reading it all together. But each individual issue is a beginning, middle, and end. Everything is wonderfully tight and compact. Every beat is done on purpose and is for a reason and is leading to something else. Every single issue ends in a way that really makes you want to come back. Not because you can get the whole story, but because you really need to know what happens at the start of the next chapter. And that is a gift. It's a talent. I've said this before, but some of my favourite writers sometimes fall at this hurdle. Spura absolutely nailed it. I can think of, I think, Tex Arcanum, Mine is Long and Lonesome Grave. I think those two are like the standouts of other writers who managed to do that this year. And it is a gift which I think a lot of comic book writers need to go back and reevaluate. I've said already in one review that I'm liking that writers seem to be leaning more into this idea of a single issue should be its own story. This is a good example of doing it, while also wonderfully leading into it being a full, complete 4-issue miniseries. And I love it, and I really, really hope some other people out there, more people than in my store at least, have bought a lot of it. Spurrier and Del Rey both deserve a lot of praise as well. It's fantastic. That's it for me for now, though. We're back in number 9 next time I see you. Until then, look after yourself, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.